birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. Oh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new day, it's a new life.
Welcome, Goat Locker race fans, to the final race of the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series in what has been one of the most competitive seasons V-Speed has ever had the pleasure of broadcasting. Tonight, the season all comes down to the track Too Tough to Tame. Drabick, Gardner, McCarty, and Bontrager. One of these four drivers will walk out of Darlington with the championship. 100 laps, 4 drivers, and a championship on the line right now, tonight, live here on V-Speed. Hello everybody and welcome inside the broadcast booth here. I'm Alec Martinez, and joining me in the night for a championship night is Logan Thurkeld, and working the cameras and producing this race tonight, Eddie Smith. Logan, it's great to be with you in what has been a crazy, wild, amazing season. It comes down to tonight here at Darlington.
It absolutely has. We have 4 top-of-the-line drivers here tonight that are all going to be battling it out from start to finish. Like you said, 100 laps. It's going to be action-packed the entire time. And I am so happy to be here with you, Alec. This is going to be a good one.
It sure is, and love the Christmas festivities. And I think you said Santa is going to be delivering somebody a championship here tonight. And it's going to be awesome to see who will walk away with that championship in what has been a crazy jam-packed schedule of a bunch of different races that we've seen all year. Darlington being the headline one here as the championship for here, December 20th of 2024. We've been to super speedways, we've been to short tracks, we've been to a road course, we've been all over the place. 1.5 miles, the 2 milers at Michigan and Pocono. But tonight, Darlington, one of those tracks that's so synonymous for how famous it is, and like its slogan, too tough to tame. And take a look at our track graphic and our track. Let's go to our Google Earth, if you so will, and look here, located in Darlington County in Darlington, South Carolina, one of the most unique tracks. And because of its D-shaped oval and the banking of anywhere from 23 to 25 degrees, and really only one racing line, Logan, that's right against that wall.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we've seen these drivers practicing right now. It's going to be very tough to pass, but it's that's the name of the game here. It's like you said, that odd-shaped oval it's a game changer.
It sure is, and I believe you had some. Obviously, this track known for a lot of nicknames, a lot of known. The Lady in Black, Too Tough to Tame, and the Darlington Stripe, of course. And one of these championship drivers might have to keep that right side clean. That might be the difference in what happens. And let's take a look who our championship 4 drivers are. And we have Patrick Drabick in the 07 with 1 pole and average finish of 7 and 2 wins, notably getting that win at Richmond last weekend. And then after that, Jeremy Gardner in the 42 car won the opening race at Talladega, won at Michigan in the second to last round with an average finish of 8th and a pole to his name. And then it's going to be Craig Bontrager in the 49, the only driver that's winless in this championship 4, but has an average finish of 8th. No poles to his name, but he's looking to get a pole here tonight. And Levi McCarty, Mr. Consistency, the most consistent driver in the field with 1 win at Phoenix and an average finish of 5th. With no poles to his name, but looking to be that consistent driver that he's been all season and be ahead of the 4 drivers that he needs to be ahead of. And that is something we're going to have to monitor throughout all of tonight as qualifying is going on. And there's our driver cameras. You got our championship 4, Craig Bontrager, Jeremy Gardner, Levi McCarty, and Patrick Drabick. There's Chuck Phelps with George Jewell and Brandon Wallace, who terrible Wallace, as he has in there. And Logan, I don't know about you, buddy. I am so excited to get this race started and what is going to be, I think, one for the ages.
Yeah, I can't wait to crown a champion here tonight. And just, we've seen earlier this week, Patrick Drabick has already claimed a championship in a separate series, and the excitement level, it was more geared towards tonight. So hopefully we'll see one of these guys throwing up a fist pump.
And I'm sure we will. The excitement, the drama, everything, all the controversy that can happen here tonight as qualifying continue to go on. Levi McCarty looking to get that first pole, as Gardner coming down the backstretch trying to get his lap and improve up in tonight as qualifying goes on. We'll stay here for Jeremy Gardner's lap as the other 3 championship 4 drivers have in fact put down a lap. Gardner will now go onto the board and he will stay in the 9th position, and he'll jump up to the pole, and that could be the difference in track position for a championship here tonight. As qualifying continues, we'll send it over to Navy vet Jared Ashley for the performance of our national anthem and be right back to the grid here for the championship.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
And thank you to Jared for the performance of our national anthem and that he's done all season long. It's now time for the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award to go to Championship 4 driver Jeremy Gardner, who will lead the field to green. But right next to him is Championship 4 driver as well, Levi McCarty in the 24. On row number 2 has the third Championship 4 driver, Patrick Drabick in the 07, with Jake Ham, the first driver to just miss this Championship 4, trying to play spoiler in 4th. Jamie Mullins will start in 5th, with Jacob Denson in 6th. 7th in the lowest qualifying Championship 4 driver, Craig Bontrager in 7th, with Brandon Wallace rolling off in 8th. And then row number 5 will have Howie DiSavino with George Jewell rounding out the top 10.
The back half of this field is going to start out here with James Goshen in the 85, next to Johnny Brugg. That's a new name to us here. The 12 starting out in 12th. Stephen McDonald in the 68 will take the 13th starting spot next to Logan Sturgeon in the 26. Tyler Justice in the 33 will start out here in 15th next to Daniel Cunningham in the 91. Charles Pegleg Feltz in the 75 truck will start out in 17th next to, last but not least, Matt Knights in the 64 and 18th.
And that will round out our field of 18 trucks tonight. And remember, the highlighted trucks for the numbers will be the 42, 24, 07, and the 49. Those 4 drivers going for a championship and in championship format style. The highest finisher of those drivers will walk out of Darlington here tonight, crowned as the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series champion. And Logan, what has been an incredible season, it all comes down to this. Which one of these 4 in your mind is walking away with the championship?
I almost don't want to pick right now, but I'm going to have to go with Mr. Consistency. Levi McCarty in that 24 machine. He's had such a good season, and that stat of averaging in 5th is just insane to me. So if he can do that or better it here tonight, which he is starting out in a fantastic spot to do so, I'm going with the 24.
Not a bad pick. I'm going to have to go with that Jam Printing and Promotions truck, the 07 of Patrick Drabick. I think he's going to win it tonight. And for all you race fans watching, 100 laps, pit road speed of 45 miles an hour, 4 tire sets available in the, or 3 tire sets available in the pits. This 4th set on the race trucks right now, and 2 green-white checkered attempts if needed to get us to the end of this race. And 100% fuel load with a Maconi setup, fixed setup, and 57 laps, the estimated fuel run. We'll see how tires will be the concern, the cause for concern. And what has been an incredible season that's had 11 different winners here in a 14-race season. Tonight, race 14, it's down to this. Gardner, McCarty, Drabick, Bontrager. One of those 4 will walk away with the championship. 100 laps to decide it. The pace truck has pulled off to pit lane, and into the InVets restart zone they'll go. Gardner, McCarty lead the field to green, and we're underway from the Lady in Black on a championship Friday night. Gets away clean halfway down the backstretch in the field. Single files out into turn 3. It's Gardner, McCarty, Drabick, Ham, and Denson, the top 5. Bontrager's already made a spot up on this first lap. As they come to click lap 1, Gardner leads it and gets himself ahead in the clean air, and what could be oh so valuable here tonight.
Yeah, and like you mentioned there in the pre-race, this whole race is going to come down to conserving that right rear tire. We have reports of this setup being very loose compared to other tracks, so it's going to be a challenge for all of these drivers to handle this truck as best as they can. And most importantly, our Championship 4 have to handle it the best they have all year long.
Yes, they will. The most important race they'll run this season on board. You can see the laser focus for Levi McCarty falling right in the tire tracks of Jeremy Gardner. Started outside pole, continues to stay in second, but we see that looseness catch the 24 of McCarty off the corner, and like you said, burning any bit of slip can really hurt the tires at a track like Darlington, where we know this track is synonymous for tire wear and how much these cars or trucks and cars wear out the right side tires and sometimes wear out the right side fenders and sheet metal. When will we see these guys, if we'll see these guys, get up by that wall and really start having to push the boards, if you so will?
I would say once it becomes crunch time, once these drivers know they have to gain positions, is whenever we'll start seeing that truck move up within 6 inches of that wall and stay there. It's going to be a battle, and that is unavoidable.
Sir, and we're shaping up for a good battle already. The top three running in the championship for nose to tailgate here into turn 1. Only about a half a truck length separating each all of these three together. Here's McCarty pokes the left side nose into the clean air as Gardner gives it to him, and now McCarty with the run pokes down to the bottom here, battling for the lead in the championship and the race. Now to the bottom goes McCarty, but Gardner gets loose, he gets hit, and he hits the outside wall. The championship Ford contender falling back and maybe some damage, and a huge mistake.
It was untimely for the 42 as he's going to fall all the way back to 10th, now able to slot back in right behind the 26 of Logan Sturgeon. We'll take this to the V-Speed replay camera.
We'll see here, McCarty to the inside going for the lead, and I don't know if he really touched him at all. Maybe just the air moving the 42 sideways, and a big costly air for the 42 as he gets up into the outside wall and brushes the right rear against it, and right on board. There's no contact. That looks just maybe packing air on the left side quarter panel. We see that happen a lot in racing in these stock cars. Just might have moved him out of the way, and that time he got the wall good and got probably the most sensitive part of the race truck into the outside wall.
No contact between the 24 and the 42, but you know, that's like you hit the nail on the head. That's just air packing that left rear. A little bit of contact once Jeremy Gardner got loose, kind of finished the job off and put him up into that outside wall, but he has recovered well. He's already back up into 9th around the 26 of Sturgeon.
He has, and he's earned his Darlington stripe already, and somebody who's earning their pay grade right now. Bontrager just got 2 spots in about a lap and a half. He got by Denson, and then he got by Hammond to turn 1, who's dropped about 6 spots, has dropped about 3 or 4 spots already, and might have earned his Darlington stripe as we're in the InVet's in-car camera here, if you so will, as he is just focused here, but he's got a little bit of ways to go here as we're on board with Craig Bontrager in the 49, who started 7th, and he's up to 3rd in a fierce drive through these couple of trucks, and now has the 2 closest competitors that he's running with for the championship only 7/10 up the road.
Now what Bontrager has to focus on here is being able to save that right rear. He does not want to lose too much ground to McCarty and Drabick before these pit stop cycles start coming through. Now, if these drivers are going to come down early for tires, or if they're going to stretch this run out the full 57 laps that we're getting an estimate on the fuel run, that is what the big question is.
That is, and maybe we see tire strategies here at Darlington, maybe a 3-stop, or at this point cut it into thirds, maybe do 2 stops in pit road and be in a constant offense. Or do you want to split this race in half and be on defense? With this a possibility, will we see these guys split it and cut into thirds, or split it this race in half? And only time will tell as Drabick continues to pressure McCarty. He might have just caught the outside wall off of turn 2. Now Drabick pressuring, trying to force McCarty to block his air, but really keeping him guessing.
Yeah, Drabick moving all up and down the racetrack right now. Saw him come down on that backstretch. He's going to elect to stay behind McCarty right now going into turn 1. As McCarty gets a little bit high on the entrance, Drabick takes a look to the inside, doesn't do anything with it. As you see, the 07, that back end starts kicking around on Patrick Drabick. Handled it well, though, kept it straight.
He has it. He's just got to keep that right rear under him. If we're thinking more 50 laps, there's another 40 or so laps to go on these set of Goodyear Racing Eagles. So a long way to go here at Darlington, and especially in a run. And sometimes if you burn up tires here, you can be in for a long night. Gardner going under Ham, who gets tight into turn 1, and now DiSavino going underneath Jake Ham for what is the 7th position. Almost a little contact off of turn 2, and now Sturgeon goes underneath here for 8th on the racetrack, as Gardner able to get by and get back up to 6th. Ham closes the door on Sturgeon and falls back to 8th, so Ham a steady drop through the field, and Jake Ham could have been one of these drivers the championship for, just had everything go wrong and go against him last week at Richmond. And really right now, it gave all that happened, gave the opportunity to that driver right there in the 49, Craig Bontrager, who sits in here, the only winless driver of the championship for. And what a way to go out and maybe win this race and walk away with the championship and end it in spectacular fashion.
Absolutely. The first win of the season being the championship deciding race. That would be incredible for Bontrager.
It would be, and it'd be very amazing, and what a what an earned win that would be, and an earned championship, as he has been one of the better drivers, and we really talk about him a lot. Being up in the top 5, being up in the top 3 sometimes, and that has got him here. He was one of the drivers to make it on points. Is Gardner making a pass for 5th on Mullins, and now Gardner gets back up inside the top 5 after that mistake from the lead, and he looks like a driver driving angry right now, but he's still got 2.5 seconds up the road to McCarty.
I like how this has played out for Gardner in terms of the other drivers not giving the position back to him, but definitely not driving as hard as they could. They want to see this battle between the championship 4 just as badly as we do.
He sure does, and you can see behind him, it's faded out, but we've seen it before. He's got a side panel of one of the Kyle Larson's race cars, and this track Kyle Larson always so good at, and what he needs to be good at, and what Kyle Larson's good at, is running that outside wall and being right next to it. Can Jeremy Gardner just squeeze every bit of tenth and time and tire out of that race truck as he gets right up next to the outside safer barrier? And that time was right on par with the drivers that are ahead of him, even faster than the highest running non-championship 4 driver, and that's Jacob Denson in the 79 truck, who's only 1.8 seconds back. And I would ask you this, Logan, if there's a point, does short pitting become a thing, or is that too risky of a strategy to do here at Darlington?
You know, Darlington is such a short track. You could go multiple laps down with a pit cycle being that early, and it might not play out in your favor. So, honestly, in Gardner's position, I'm keeping an eye on those other 3 drivers up in front of him and making the same moves that they do and make it come down to just a pure driving difference. Who can handle this truck better here tonight?
You're seeing right now, it seems like Bontrager's truck handling a little bit better behind Dravic. Dravic maybe burned up the tires in the dirty air of the 24, and Bontrager has ran him down as looking to get second here as they both slide off of turn 2, and Dravic stays ahead, and no run for Bontrager, and now McCarty has opened up over a half a second gap to he and Patrick Dravic. So these guys trying to just get every bit that they can out of these trucks, but maybe McCarty really pushing Bontrager really loose off of 4. And right now we're really seeing these guys struggling already, a second worth of fall off in 20 laps.
That's about on par with what you typically see here at Darlington, at least in the racing simulator here.
Oh, Gardner up into the wall. And he gets another Darlington strap, and Mullins goes by, and Gardner loses that spot that he just gained. And now Ham going to pressure the 42 of Gardner, and look at behind Gardner. There's a whole handful of trucks behind, all the way to, I believe that's Jewel in the 36 that have just kind of stood right by him. So Gardner can't afford to lose another spot. But this time, Bontrager underneath Dravic in one of the most tricky parts of the racetrack, side by side between the 49 and 07, and this costing valuable time. But can Bontrager get by? He makes contact with Dravic. They bang doors in the middle of 3 and 4, and they still stay side by side. And here comes Denson to also capitalize, and Dravic loses another spot.
He hasn't lost it just yet. Denson has to hold it down here. He got up and clear of Dravic, and it looks like he's going to be able to hold on to it for now, but Dravic's not going to let that go easily.
No, and Dravic has fallen back to 4th, and Bontrager getting a little rough moving elbows out here and muscling the 07 of Drabic out of the way for second, but all that battling costed them a second and a half to Levi McCarty, who now is cruising away with the lead in clean air.
We were just talking about Drabic's tires and, you know, that hard driving that he was doing to stay on the back bumper of McCarty. As we're now looking at the InVet's in-car camera with Levi McCarty.
And
But
the smaller
Drabic very well could have burned those tires up a little bit more than he was expecting to.
This is true. Sorry to cut you off there a little bit. I'm saying this is that the smaller those trucks get in his mirror, the happier and better Levi McCarty's going to settle down. And you don't want to let your guard down too much, but man, it is a great thing to have a 2-second lead in a championship race. The only thing that can really throw anything else off is a caution during the pit cycle. We've seen that happen a lot at Darlington. And Darlington, I think most argue, one of the hardest, if not the hardest pit road to get onto under green flag conditions. So that is another way we could see drivers make mistakes and what can really end their championship hopes is Drabic really loose, sliding out of these corners and really struggling that time about 2/10 off of McCarty's time and losing that time behind, especially the 1979 of Denson.
Yeah, that pit road entrance here is just so incredibly tough as we've got some contact towards the back of the pack. Car sent way down the track. That's the 26 of Sturgeon, but nothing doing. He gathered it back up in front of the 36. We stay green here.
Heck of a save. Cunningham was actually able to just get by these Salvino. That's been a very interesting and heated battle. And these drivers, I mean, they're slipping and sliding around. One little mistake can cause a chain reaction wreck. And right here, there's 4 trucks under a blanket. Behind them, there's 5 trucks under a blanket. So a lot of good battles, a lot of good racing, and the 2 championship 4 contenders battling with each other here. Gardner has closed back up to Drabic here, and this is going to be the battle for 4th on the racetrack. Is almost maybe a wreck off of 4. Is that Sturgeon into the outside wall hard?
Yeah, it was Sturgeon once more, just a little loose coming through that corner, tagged the wall. That's going to allow the 36 of George Jewell to get around him this time. Yeah,
and he definitely earned his Darlington stripe here. He got up into the outside wall and just stayed there. And I almost had another big moment. What happened to Levi McCarty? I think he just had an issue. McCarty has dropped down to 8th. He's dropped down to 10th.
And McCarty's slow at the bottom of the track.
McCarty with an issue, and that hands the lead over to Bontrager, and McCarty losing multiple spots. I can only imagine what's happening. He's gone off of the racetrack from the lead.
What has happened to the 24?
Who had such a big lead has fallen maybe out of the server with some kind of connection issues, and Bontrager now has this lead, and McCarty is out of the, I mean, he's got to be out of this race now. He is. He stopped idle on the apron, and he's all by himself. And no caution going to come out, but he is out of the race. One of the championship 4 contenders out of it.
Looks like a technical issue for McCarty.
Kind of issue here. We'll look at him. He just disappears. And then the next thing we saw, he's off the racetrack in 8th. And a heartbreaking situation for the driver who has dominated this race and took the lead early. And we see him fall back to about 8th here, battling with Jewell. And then Sturgeon comes up to him, and he just disappears again. And then now he's rolling on the backstretch pit road, what used to be the original pit road at Darlington, all by himself. And it looks like maybe the right side with a lot of damage. But this time he's already 2 laps down, and this could be it. This could be the season for the most consistent driver as he pulls it behind the wall and tows it to pit road.
Heartbreak for the 24 team. Had a dominating lead so far this race. Technical difficulties take him out of the chase.
and take him out of a chance at a championship with his hand in an golden opportunity to Craig Bontrager, who now sits in the lead 4/10 of a second lead over Jacob Denson, who looks to get his first win of the season behind trailing almost a half a second. Then behind Bontrager in third is now the championship 4, what has become the championship 3, as Patrick Drabick sits in third and Gardner sitting in fifth, Jake Ham in fourth.
Yeah, as unfortunate as it is, you know these other drivers are breathing a sigh of relief after seeing how far McCarty got ahead. Now out of contention, leaving it down to Bontrager, Drabick, and Gardner to battle it out to the end.
Wow, a huge save, and now Denson right behind. Remember, these championship 4, they do not have to win the race to win the championship. But Denson wants to win, and I don't think he really cares that Bontrager's in the championship 4, because now Denson putting pressure on Bontrager, and we saw him make a mistake off of turn 4, and maybe Bontrager, knowing how important that clean air is trying to fight for it. Drabick is under pressure from Jake Ham. Maybe these non-championship 4 drivers really playing a role in what can affect the outcome of this race.
Yeah, it seems to be. It's the 07. Like you said, under pressure from the 87 to Ham. He's really gathered up some time on Drabick here in the last few laps. Gardner's still back there behind Jake Ham, hoping that one of them makes a mistake.
And hey, here comes Ham to the bottom. He gets into the door of Drabick, similar to what happened between Bontrager, as Ham gets down to the inside, and Drabick not willing to relinquish the position right now. But remember, he can't afford to lose too much time to the 49 of Bontrager, as Ham goes to the bottom, and now we'll have the preferred spot out of turn number 2, and he gets it, and now here comes Gardner to capitalize on the position as Drabick gets loose off of 2.
Drabick and Gardner both loose out of 2 there, both able to gather it back up. But man, they are burning up those tires right now, trying to make these moves as Gardner looks to the inside on the exit, doesn't get it, almost tags the wall. Might be seeing an opportunity for Gardner to give Drabick a little bit of a bump into a corner and move him.
We'll see if he's willing to move him, and what will happen. Will desperate drivers do desperate things as Gardner closes back up behind, but these drivers now sit 2 seconds behind the 49 of Craig Bontrager, who's still trying to hold off Jacob Denson for the race lead, and Gardner is just not getting enough to get by Drabick, as Denson this time the closest he's been to the 49 of Bontrager, now peeks to the inside into 1, but thinks better of it. Boy, what would this be? If Denson can upset...
Go ahead, Alec.
Oh, sorry to cut you off there. I'm saying, what if Denson can win this? And what if, if you're Bontrager, how do you race Denson?
If you look back a little bit further, though, Gardner just got to the inside of Drabick on the corner entry, backed it off, though, falls back in behind, did not feel comfortable taking that low line through 3 and 4. He almost had a perfectly set up move.
He did, and you got to think, too, how much is he burning up these tires, being behind Drabick and sliding the truck to really get around him.
We're getting towards the end of this fuel run at least, so, we've got coming up on about 15 to 17 laps left. It might not be a matter of tires anymore. They know that they're going to get them soon. So might as well push as hard as you can while you can. Try to gain that extra position. Could be everything going into pit road here.
We saw Bontrager make a mistake into pit road last week at Richmond. Of course, he doesn't want to replicate that, but he has shown he could be vulnerable in pitting situations, especially under green. And I do want to throw this out. Brandon Wallace made a pit stop just about 4 laps ago, and he currently is turning a 1.5 seconds faster a lap than the leader Bontrager right now, and that shows how much of a difference fresh tires can be in this race.
Tires are going to make all the difference. It's just going to be who has the best strategy. If we stay green here this entire race, that's all it's going to boil down to.
And Denson just trying to find a way, similar to the way Gardner has been stuck behind Drabick. He's just trying to find a way here. As now Gardner underneath.
Bontrager in the wall.
He got the wall, and that allows Denson to get underneath them for the race lead here as they battle side by side. Bontrager trying to hold on to that clean air. Can he do it? No, he can't. Denson goes to the lead, and don't look now. Here comes Jake Ham in the 87. Gardner lost considerable amounts of time to Drabick, and he's about to maybe lose a position to Daniel Cunningham. These non-playoff drivers really playing a spoiler in this race as Bontrager looks like he might have got the wall again.
Judging by the time lost to Denson, I'm going to have to say you are correct. Jake Ham didn't quite gain too much there, so he might have tagged the wall just a touch as well. But Bontrager falling out of the lead rapidly.
He might have pushed his tires too hard because we're seeing Denson and we're seeing Ham, who were riding in about 5th and 6th at the beginning of this run. They stayed there, and now when they push and have the opportunity to get going, they have taken it, and they are the fastest trucks on the racetrack. Bontrager with a bobble off of turn 4, but he holds on to second as Denson begins to open up the lead, and can he become the 12th different winner this season? And we talked about 11 different winners, Denson looking to be the 12th. And Bontrager also looking to be the 12th, but he's looking to be the champion more importantly as he continues to slide off of turn number 2, and he's just trying to hold off Jake Ham in the 87.
And Alec, don't look now, but we're on lap 43. That means that pit window is now open. If these drivers come down from the data that we've received pre-race, they could statistically make it from here to the end.
That you would be going on about 11 laps longer than you would this run. Are you willing to risk that? As right now behind these two, Drabick has begun to open up a little bit of a gap over Gardner. But Gardner has now had pressure from the 91 of Daniel Cunningham, and I think this feels like a can't-lose position for Jeremy Gardner.
It absolutely is.
Oh.
Jeremy, big time into the wall for Drabick there. Gardner closes up all of that room we were just talking about. He is all over the back bumper of Drabick now. We'll see if he takes a look to the inside here. He doesn't. Backs off.
Shoved him in there, but now he can pack air on the 07 as we saw him get loose there, but now he's right in the dirty air trying to cross the wake here and get a run off of turn 2. He has one. Will he take it here on the 07 of Drabick? Into 3 they'll go. No, he thinks better of it, and Drabick going to stay away from that outside retaining wall. Oh! Craig Bontrager just got into the outside wall, and now Ham has gotten by him, and now no trucks separate Drabick and Gardner from Bontrager.
Just a little bit of time between them.
Ooh,
But if Bontrager can't hold it down, then that gap will close just as fast as we saw with Drabick and Gardner.
Very well could, and Bontrager, all these drivers have now earned their Darlington stripe in that time. Bontrager got it pretty good, and we don't talk about it much, but that could affect the aerodynamics and the way these trucks handle. As behind Bontrager, it's Drabick and Gardner battling with Cunningham right behind them, side by side into one. They make contact, up the racetrack they go.
Almost puts Drabick into the wall, but they held it down just enough. Gardner's going to get the run through the corner. He's clear. Drabick into the wall.
And Drabick got the wall. Now Cunningham switches from the bottom to the top. And Drabick now brings it down to pit road and will try, but he looks like he might miss it. He slides sideways, but he gets it down in time. He might have got the pit cone, which could be an issue, but we'll have to monitor it as Drabick enters pit road. See, not too happy with the way that lap went. Gardner got by him, and now Drabick having to do something to counteract what just happened, brings it to pit road, and we'll see if he has a penalty for missing that pit cone. Denson now, the leader, has brought it to pit lane as we're on board with Drabick, and right there, he just misses that cone. That could be an issue. Bontrager is now into pit road with Denson, and it looks like Gardner stays out.
I was just starting to question if that's going to force the hand of the other two drivers in this chase. Interesting to see Gardner electing to stay out now. We'll see if he comes down this time by.
Drabick has a penalty for hitting that cone, and that could be all she wrote for the 07 Jam Printing and Promotions Chevrolet as he sits idle in pit road, serving his commitment line violation as Gardner continues to stay on the racetrack, and Bontrager getting service to his truck. And he's off and away, and this now might become a two-horse pony show at the dog races. But Gardner trying not to lose his position to Daniel Cunningham.
At what point does the driver of the 42 come down for fresh Goodyear tires? It is not this time by. He's going to continue turning laps.
How long is too long? Here comes Cunningham to the inside of Jeremy Gardner. He'll come in, but he backs out of it. Gardner goes wide, but he almost catches the wall and he stays in it. And now he'll hold off Cunningham once again, but when does Jeremy Gardner bring it to pit road as Jake Ham sits about 3.5, almost 4 seconds ahead for the lead as Cunningham dives in underneath Gardner. This could be costing more time to Bontrager here as they battle for position on older tires while Bontrager has clean air on fresh tires.
And this could be detrimental to the 07 of Drabick if a caution was to come out at this moment. He's 2 laps down.
Oh my goodness, that should have been a wreck, and it somehow wasn't. That was close behind them. Wallace slides up into Sturgeon almost, but they keep on it. And that could have been all she wrote for Gardner, but now Gardner coming into pit road.
Smart move by Gardner to get out of that situation. A lot of pressure being put on him there. Get away from it.
Great move, but now Bontrager will get around him, get back on the same lap as Gardner. How much of a gap will Craig Bontrager have over Jeremy Gardner, and can Gardner get by him and catch up the deficit that he's lost?
He's got a few laps better on the tires.
Could mean the difference. That might be the difference. And we'll just have to see as Ham and Sturgeon stay out on the racetrack. Cunningham now brings it into pit road, and the drivers that have already pitted hoping and praying for no caution to get trapped a lap down as Gardner gets service to his race truck, and he will be released out of pit road. This will be the interesting factor here as Bontrager comes across the start-finish line. Jeremy Gardner exiting pit road right there. He'll go by. And how much of a gap does Bontrager have over Gardner, and how much will the tire difference affect who wins this championship?
Trying to do the math here as Gardner gets back out on the track.
Seconds is the gap.
It looks like about 4 seconds.
Sure is. Cunningham exiting pit road. Denson will probably retain the lead once the cycle is over with, and now exiting pit road is the 91. And now, like we said, it's about a 3.5 second gap to Bontrager and Gardner. Gardner with 4 laps, the difference on tires. Could that be the championship winning move as Jake Ham, having to near the end of his pit window here and his fuel windows, continues to lead this race, a 6-second lead over Logan Sturgeon. When will Ham bring it into pit road, and he'll be looking to get his 3rd win of the season if he can seal the deal here tonight, and looks like he'll probably stay another lap on the racetrack here. And remember, you can't discredit these guys that aren't in the championship full. We may not highlight them as much, but they are very well, most as well, racing for a win here tonight. Others may be racing for a championship, but these drivers still a win on the line.
Absolutely. This being one of the toughest leagues competition-wise between all these drivers. You know, it's all bragging rights. Anytime you can pick up a win here.
Sure is. How about this? 2.5 seconds now, the gap between Bontrager and Gardner. That gap is closing quickly. How much more will it close in the next 43 laps left in this race? Bontrager will have to go just about 50, where Gardner will only have to go about 46 laps on tires. So that could be the difference. That could be a certain cliff fall off that we'll have to monitor throughout this race as Jake Ham continues to lead. Logan Sturgeon rides in second. And we'll go, and how about this? We'll have to thank our season sponsors that have stuck with this series and how amazing they are. We'll start off with the Veterans for Life Racing, as they are a race team with the goal of fielding a truck next season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, veteran-based and focused on helping veterans all across the racing world They are heavily involved with many veteran nonprofits to raise awareness and funds. Goat Locker Racing is now partnered with them, and they are the title sponsor for the Friday Truck Series, the one that is broadcasted live on VSpeed that you're watching right now, and what has been a just phenomenal season, and it wouldn't be possible as well without Jam Printing and Promotions. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. And a shout out to them for all that they do. And how about this? Jeremy Gardner has reeled in Craig Bontrager in a matter of 5 laps. Can Gardner get by? And this could be the race for the championship. Bontrager high, Gardner low on fresher tires. Bontrager tries to get into the gas, but the tires just might not be there. Gardner gets to the lead and to the lead of the championship.
And most importantly for Gardner, putting dirty air on the front nose of that 49. That's going to make him change his racing line and possibly put Craig Bontrager in an uncomfortable position to do so.
Question is, what can Bontrager do to counter this? Will he stay out on the racetrack? Will he pit again? How much does this affect what can happen in the next 40 or so laps? When is the right time to pit, as Jake Ham has finally brought it to pit lane, leaving Sturgeon on the racetrack? And it looks like Goshen also into pit lane. So Ham back into pit road. He'll make his probably one and only stop as he'll exit. And that'll leave now the lead to Logan Sturgeon, who is now into pit road as he gets past the Invex restart zone. And he'll bring it in, which will handle it over to Jacob Denson, who's looking for his first win of the season. But like Bontrager, they pitted the same lap, but much more of a gap from Denson to Gardner.
Here's our fuel data was a little bit off, not terribly so, but about 60 laps on the stints for those leaders there that just came down, Logan Sturgeon being one of them. But man.
Wow, this race has really been interesting with strategy, as Denson a 4.3 second lead over Gardner and a 1.2 second advantage over Bontrager as he sits in third. And remember, Jeremy Gardner does not have to win this race. He just has to finish ahead of the drivers in the championship. For McCarty out of the race with an issue. And then Patrick Dravitt sitting a lap down in 14th after a commitment line violation. And he now sits 14th, third truck a lap down, is going to have to hope for some sort of caution to get back on the lead lap or some sort of strategy to get back there. But a caution to get him back at least even in the conversation. And Gardner now pulls about a 1.5 seconds on Bontrager here and can start to sit pretty and look just 36 laps away from a championship.
Now the situation for Drabick right now, the 2 drivers in front of him a lap down, Goshen and Knights, both on much fresher tires than the rest of the field. So they have an opportunity to unlap themselves, giving Drabick that number 1 spot in the lap down trucks. So then after that, Drabick would be in a position of that lucky dog spot and getting back on the lead lap. But there's a lot that has to happen right now for the 07 team for this to shake out how they want it to.
Yes, sir. It has been an interesting thing, and we'll have to monitor this. A caution can really help as we're past halfway. We'll go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back for the live action of Championship Night here at Goat Locker.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
And back live here at the Darlington Raceway, Jacob Denson leads over Jeremy Gardner and Craig Bontrager in the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series finale here from the Darlington Raceway in what has been a wild and entertaining championship race. It will come back with the Veterans for Life Foundation. As the Veterans for Life Foundation, the goal of the Veterans for Life Foundation is to both revitalize communities and supporting military veterans and their families' successful transition back into civilian life. Through support services, counseling, and education, they provide permanent, affordable housing to veterans and their families. And it also wouldn't be without them. Cruising Classics, as you did see a little bit of a preview of what they have to offer, as they're located in Columbus, Ohio. Cruising Classics has a beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. There's something for everybody out there. Their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. Come on down to visit the facility today and check out their website at cruisingclassicsinc.com. And we wouldn't be running this series without them and how amazing these sponsors are, as Jacob Denson looking for his first win, but he might have to hold off the Championship 4 driver of Jeremy Gardner, and as well as Jake Ham, who pitted way later but is lapping way, way faster every lap. Ham could be in the consideration of winning this race. So can Gardner, who's cut about, 3 seconds out of that gap that he had. Went from 5 to now 2.5. So he's really, really making up good time here. About 3/10 a lap faster.
Gardner's been cooking the last couple of laps here, leaving Bontrager behind. But Bontrager might be on a strategy of saving tires for the last 20 or so laps and make a full-blown charge here late in the race.
We'll have to see. It'll be about a 4-second gap as we get the InVets in-car camera with Jeremy Gardner, who that black truck a little bit up the road exiting turn 4 is your leader, Jacob Denson, in the 79. And there's also another question. When do these tires even out here? We got about, 28 laps to go here. So that's a long way to go on a set of tires here at Darlington, which some of these drivers will be eclipsing 50 laps run on these tires. So this is a long, long way to go. And what could be a very entertaining end of this race. And I think if you're Jeremy Gardner, you know you have the spot. Of course you want to win the race, but it's much better to win the championship than the race, I'd have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. The championship is the goal here tonight. A race would be a bonus, but most importantly, it's that postseason trophy, baby.
Championship, the trophy that matters, is Bontrager looking to somehow find a way to maybe get there, but right now he's going to be under pressure from Daniel Cunningham and soon to be Jake Ham in the 87, who sits 2 seconds behind them but has way, way fresher tires than both of these drivers, and only 13 on Ham, only 20 on Cunningham, and 25 on Bontrager, so a 5-lap difference between the 91 and the 49 is this. Patrick Dravick bringing it down pit lane, trying to get a little bit off sequence and try something to revive his championship hopes as he gets into his pit box. But now a 4-tire pit stop, he'll have fresh tires, but Dravick hanging the wheel, and I think he knows or something has went wrong. And Dravick retiring the truck, so 2 of the championship 4 contenders out of the race, and now it's only between Gardner and Bontrager for the championship. McCarty, who had the most consistent season, will get his worst finish of the season, and Dravick, last week's winner, who got into this championship round, will fall up short with a 3rd-place finish in the standings and a DNF in the final race of the season with 25 laps to go. Cunningham continues to remain behind Bontrager, but that orange, black, and white truck is coming quick. And that's Jake Ham. And that truck, we'll see, he's cut 7 seconds to get to that lead. We know he has the freshest tires of anybody in the field. Ham might be having a wild charge up to the run for the race for the win, and we'll have to monitor that in the next 23 laps as Cunningham now closing up on Bontrager here for 3rd.
Yeah, Bontrager in a position where he cannot lose this spot. Be interesting to see if he's going to defend for it or if he's going to let Cunningham go by knowing that he's got that tire advantage.
We'll see, and I think he'll try to at least hold off if he's got nothing left. I don't think he'll be able to, but he won't. I guarantee you these two will have nothing for the 87 of Ham, who's now cut from a 12-second deficit to 6 seconds in 17 laps. If he continues this pace, he will at least have a chance at Denson, who will be on significantly older tires, as well as Gardner, who is really eating into that lead that Denson has. Only a second and a half really separating the top two, as Cunningham now trying to get to the inside of Bontrager.
Bontrager kind of shuts the door on Cunningham on that entrance there. Cunningham still able, and Bontrager a little bit loose out of that corner.
Could have been a costly mistake. Oh, he's in the outside wall this time. He gets the wall, and he'll lose 1 and now 2 spots because Ham gets by and Cunningham got by, and now Bontrager down to 5th, and now 2 trucks separating he and Jeremy Gardner, and Gardner still way up the road, about 5 seconds up the road as Ham now works to get by the 91 of Cunningham. And then 49 of Bontrager beginning to lose these two and lose touch with what will be the top 4. Gardner can rest a little bit easier now because there's 2 trucks separating him, and now a 2-second gap to he and Denson. And now Ham working to get by Cunningham here for the 3rd place position, as Jake Ham now goes to the inside of Daniel Cunningham in the 91, and Jake Ham with ease will make the pass on Daniel Cunningham. And now Ham has a chance at Gardner 3 seconds up the road to get to 2nd, and about 5.6 seconds to get up to Jacob Denson, who's looking for his first win of the season.
There's a 12-lap difference between the tires underneath the 87 and the tires underneath the 79. Will 20 laps be enough for Ham to make his way up to Denson and take away that number 1 spot?
At this rate, it'll be very, very close, as Bontrager might have got the wall in the middle of 1 and 2 again and really unraveling again. But nonetheless, it'll be a 2nd place points finish if this were to remain the same with 18 laps to go in this race. And what has been a dominant performance in terms of, I guess, what was a dominant performance from Levi McCarty going south with some sort of issue mechanically or connection-wise, ended his time, and then as pit stops happened, Drabick came in, missed the commitment line, got a commitment line violation, and then sat a couple laps down for most of this second half of this race, and then has parked it and sits 14th out of the event, and has left these two, Bontrager and Gardner, the only 2 championship trucks left, but only 13 trucks left on the racetrack right now. Brandon Wallace, currently the last running race truck on the racetrack. And Ham, you can tell he's trying because he's hitting the wall, and he's cut down to 3.7 seconds now.
Ham is in full throttle mode now. He wants a win here tonight. Like we said, these drivers aren't in the chase, but there are a significant amount of bragging rights when it comes to winning here.
And what could have been for Jake Ham at Darlington. We saw what happened at Richmond last week. He had a well enough gap over Craig Bontrager, made some contact with Logan Sturgeon, spun out, no caution came out, and he finished the last truck 1 lap down, and he lost on 2 points to Craig Bontrager. What could have been if he didn't have that contact, if he didn't take 2 tires on his pit stop, could this have been the chance at a championship for Jake Ham? We'll never know. But right now, he's trying to make a statement to say that he deserved to be here. He deserved to at least be in the championship for, and he might have deserved to win the championship if one of 3 drivers who have won multiple races this season, Gardner another one, who won at Michigan and Talladega, as Knights gets up into the outside wall, and Ham looking to go underneath him and put him another lap down, as there's almost some contact off of 4. 15 laps to go, and it would have been a hot pursuit for Jake Ham to run down Gardner and run down Denson. Yes, sir, and he has gone a long way to go, but as he continues his charge into the field. It wouldn't be possible without Hidden Wit Breweries. Hidden Wit Brewery Company was born from the desire to help you find a little escape from the world outside their doors. Their focus from the very beginning has always been to craft drinkable beers you love to enjoy. They are majority veteran owned and a title sponsor of the Tuesday Xfinity Series, as well as InVets, as we do have the InVets in-car camera and InVets Restart Zone. InVets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to the state to live and work. They are the title sponsor of the Sunday Truck Series here on V-Speed, and as well, we'll have to shout out Nasty's Bar and Restaurant, hoping you're enjoying the race here over there in Hilliard, Ohio. As in March 21st, 2012, Nasty's opened its doors in Hilliard, Ohio, and from the get-go, they aim to embody the energy and passion their sons Nathan and John poured into their dreams. Nathan's commitment to hospitality ensured that every guest received exceptional food and service, and they are the co-sponsors of Wednesday's Next Gen Series. They have hosted numerous fundraisers in the establishment with the goal of raising the funds to donate a sim rig to a deserving veteran or first responder, and we thank them for all that they do for the sponsorships of Goat Locker Racing, as Jake Ham made the pass on Jeremy Gardner and now sets his focus on Jacob Denson in the 79 truck with will be 11 laps to go this time, 1.3 seconds to gap. Will Denson have anything to hold off Ham with?
At this time, it doesn't look like it. Ham has been on an absolute tear since the last set of tires he put underneath that truck, and he is coming fast for that lead.
Sure is. 1.1 seconds, but maybe the time's evening out here a little bit. Only 0.3 of a second faster, and maybe he's getting to that dirty air bubble. And what's interesting, too, is Denson has older tires than Gardner. And Gardner made the pass, or Ham made the pass on Gardner look easy. Can this be another one, or has Denson been saving these tires to get ready for this charge that Jake Ham's about to mount with 10 laps to go?
If Denson had his high on the relative screen, his spotter calling out the times, that would have been the smartest move for him. Ham almost within half a second now with less than 10 to go. It's going to be close here.
Will be, and these drivers not racing for a championship, only racing for a win. Denson looking for his first race win of the season. Ham looking for his third race win of the season. But a 12-lap difference of tire could be the difference in who wins this race. Denson almost catches the wall with his right rear quarter panel, and Ham gains another 1/10 of a second, 0.3, separating the top two for the win. Big dive for Jake Ham.
The entry that Ham gets on these corners is incredible.
Incredible, and this time he cut it now to a truck length and a half. Jake Ham right behind Jacob Denson for the lead. Ham goes low, peeks that left front headlight out of the dirty air. Can Denson cover it off? Now Denson takes the air away, but Ham will have a big run down the backstretch, and here he comes for the race lead. To turn 3, Denson won't have anything for him. Jake Ham back to the race lead here, with coming now to 7 laps to go from Darlington in the 87 to the point. Made it look easy.
He absolutely did. That occurred a lot quicker than I had in mind.
It sure did, and Denson really, with even 12 laps the difference, it just shows how much 12 laps matters here at Darlington. And Denson tries, he gets loose off of 2, and he gathers it up and saves it. A huge save out of Jacob Denson. It could have been a race-turning caution. And so far, Jeremy Gardner all by himself. He's going to have a little bit of company from Cunningham, who's sitting about 0.8 behind him. But realistically, Gardner can afford to lose that spot because there's 2 seconds almost 3 seconds separating Gardner and his closest championship rival, Craig Bontrager. And just for Gardner, the way the season started out with, he won the opening race at Talladega in spectacular fashion, barely beating Mike George. And from there, he's been consistent. He's had his ups and downs throughout the season. But we knew when he won Michigan that the momentum was on his side. He didn't have to worry about Richmond last week. He could solely focus on Darlington here tonight. He won the pole And he had a little bit of issues, but what a rebound. Things played his way, but what a rebound for Jeremy Gardner.
Yeah, absolutely. That 42 team is happy right now in the position that he's in. Might not be a race win, might not get that bonus check for the race win, but the championship just has such a better ring to it.
Yes, sir, it does. The Veterans for Life Racing Champion would look nice on a resume, sim racing resume, and there's really not a lot of spots for battle. We just saw Wallace make a pass on Knights. I think there's one battle between Sturgeon and DiSavino, 6th and 7th on the racetrack. Those guys just hope, at least Jeremy Gardner, hoping that there is no caution. He doesn't need something to change the complexion of this race and send it to an overtime, which we do have two green-white checkers, but hoping not to use them with only 4 to go, as Denson maybe trying to save up whatever he's got left. He's running down Ham again, but this time Ham opens up the gap just a little bit there off of turn number 4. And now 3 laps to go here in what has been just a fantastic, phenomenal season that will end up with 11 different race winners, something we really haven't seen much here on V-Speed, and it just shows the competitiveness that Goat Locker has, especially in this truck series. And I don't know about you, Logan, I'm really looking forward to the next season that we'll have here coming up soon in the coming months and to begin the new year, as 2 laps to go, 2.6 miles left in this race. Jake Ham, a 0.3 of a second gap over Jacob Denson, looking for his first win. Can Denson try anything? Can he find a way around Ham? Ham maybe have used up that 12 lap difference. Is now 2/10 separating the top 2. A lap and a half to go. Denson closes to the back bumper of Ham. Can he at least get enough to maybe move him out of the way? Off of turn 4 into the Invets restart zone. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. Denson hits the wall and he gets into it, and that might be all she wrote for the race win. 1 lap to go for Ham. Denson crawling around the racetrack with a broken right front suspension. And now a half a lap to go. Gardner going to run up on Denson here off of 2. A lap and a half to go for Ham. Denson in the wall in front of Gardner, but Gardner avoids it. He started the season with the win at Talladega. Ham backs it off. He'll get his 3rd win of the season at Darlington, but behind him in 2nd, Jeremy Gardner, fist pumping in the air. He is a champion on Friday nights. Jeremy Gardner wins the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series Championship. What a race, what a finish, and a crazy finish as Gardner had to avoid. But nonetheless, he doesn't win the race, but he wins the championship as Jake Ham gets his 3rd win of the season. And Jeremy Gardner going to have a championship burnout on the front stretch. And how about Jake Ham getting his 3rd win? And man, oh man, what a race here from Darlington. Jake Ham the winner. And we just might get lucky enough to see dual burnouts on the front stretch here as Gardner burns it down in front of the Darlington, virtual Darling, South Carolina fans. And Jake Ham will come to meet him on the start-finish line. And the winners of the race and the championship will celebrate. And what a race. What a season, Logan. Jeremy Gardner, the champion.
Yeah, absolutely. What a fantastic drive by both of these drivers here. Jake Ham with that win, and he's going to get his opportunity to put down a burnout for Bennett here tonight, as well as the championship winner, Jeremy Gardner. Congratulations, sir. Fantastic season for the 42 team.
Absolutely, as he continues to burn it down on the front stretch. Let's take a look at our finishing results here from the Darlington Raceway. Jake Ham, the winner. Jeremy Gardner starts first, and he'll end up first as the champion of this season. In 2nd, Daniel Cunningham gets 3rd. Craig Bontrager 4th. Jacob Denson, a catastrophic final lap, comes home in 5th. Logan Sturgeon in 6th. Howie DiSavino was 7th. Jerry Mullins was in 8th. George Jewell was 9th. And James Goshen ends the season with a top 10.
Back behind the top 10, we've got the 68 of Stephen McDonald, followed by the 99 of Brandon Wallace. The 64 of Matt Knights will take home 13th, followed up by the 07 of Patrick Drabick. Just an upsetting night for that team there. You know, coming hot off of a championship win earlier in the week. Tonight just was not the night. Charles Phelps takes home the 75 machine in 15th spot, followed up by Levi McCarty, who we saw with massive struggles early in the race took him out of the championship as well. The 33 of Tyler Justice out there for just a few laps, takes home 17th. And last but not least, Johnny Brugg, who we did not see on the track at all tonight.
He did not turn a lap here tonight, as we'll go to the celebration of the champion, and we'll see if we can get Jeremy Gardner, the champion here in the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series. Congratulations, my friend. You are the champion.
Yes, sir. Oh my God, that was nerve-wracking. Lap 6 there, got spun, man. I thought that was it for me. I knew Levi was going to be fast all night. He seemed like he definitely turned his laps tonight. Hard battle with Pat right there. Truck battling loose all night. For some reason it went tight when we got side by side right there. I hadn't had it pushed tight all night. It was on rails all night. So I seen everybody pitting early, in this track, man, as loose as it got, I knew I had to stay out on 5-6 lap pressure tires. So what a nerve-wracking way to end the season right there, and I'm glad I could bring that home. What a relief.
Absolutely, and a huge congratulations to you. And as you see the 5-door on your wall there, making Young Money proud. And what a race it was for you, Jeremy. And next season, well, you're going to be the defending champion. How do you feel now? Obviously, it's going to set in, but you got a couple weeks, but you are the defending champion. Now, how do you feel about starting next season and trying to do a 2P, go 2 in a row?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm curious where we pick the championship race next year. Man, I love this group, man. Everybody raced super clean tonight. Honestly, it's Darlington, man. I expected 2 to 3 cautions at least. Turn 2 is it's definitely fun. I figured somebody would slam the wall or spin out. Man, it shows how premier this series is tonight, with nobody spinning out, no cautions, no nothing. So I'm looking forward to next season already, man. It's going to suck being off for a week or 2, but the boys will be back here soon.
Well, again, congratulations to you, Jeremy. Is there anybody you have to give a shout out to here for the championship season?
Yeah, man. Patrick and Jamie, always GOR. I love those guys, man. This is the best league to run in. Appreciate everything they do for the veteran community, everything they do for our community. Lincoln Tech, Hidwent Brewery, Cruising Classics, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, InVets, Jam Printing Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, Coney Entertainment. Of course, y'all guys, man, y'all put on a hell of a broadcast every week. We appreciate y'all. Nazareth 360, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PCs, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, iRacing, and above the yellow line. That's go in the talks. It might be my sponsor next year. We'll see. But Premier Setups, come check us out. Appreciate y'all guys tonight. That was a hell of a race.
It sure
I don't know what to say right now.
It sure was, man. But I can tell you one thing. You could say you are the champion. And again, congratulations to you, Jeremy. Congratulations again. And hey, how can you not sponsor the champion, of course, right?
There you go, man.
Hey, well, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, man. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, the champion of the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series, Jeremy Gardner.
Appreciate y'all guys.
It is our champion, Jeremy Gardner, who finished second in the race. Logan is going to be standing with our race winner, Jake Ham.
I've got Jake Ham down here in the winner's circle at the track that is named Too Tough to Tame, but you tamed it tonight and showed everybody else out here that you deserve to be up here in the front. Jake Ham, fantastic race tonight. What are your thoughts about how this season played out as a whole? And then obviously boiling down into this race here tonight with you taking home your 3rd win of the season.
Yeah, what a fantastic race tonight. Awesome. I once I got used to the setup, I absolutely love this place. And under practice, I was a little nervous, couldn't keep it together, but everything came together during the race. But I'll tell you what, I was a man on a mission tonight. After last week, getting wrecked out of the playoffs, a little salty. I was coming in and I'm like, I'm going to win this thing. I'm going to take it home, prove that I should have been there, for the win. And most importantly, though, I ran the paint scheme for Benny. We brought it up last week. He's still, fighting, everything in the hospital. And so wanted to make sure that we put him in victory lane to get it out there. and it worked out really well. It was a fantastic night. I loved it.
Absolutely. I couldn't have picked a better paint scheme to have up here in the winner's circle at Burnouts for Bennett. Obviously, we're all thinking about him. Everybody here in the league taking part in it. But Jake, we've got next season to look forward to. Your name is up there now. You are a contender. Are you going to come back next year and fight as hard as you can and take home next year's champion?
100%. I missed the first couple weeks. I appreciate the league for allowing me to come back in, even starting late, and to be here to finish strong on some wins. It's going to start off on a positive foot, and I'm definitely looking forward to what next season's going to bring. So it's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. And I think I can speak for my colleagues here. We're all looking forward to it as well. But Jake, who do you have to thank for your race win here tonight and the season as a whole?
Yeah, season as a whole, again, Go Locker, V-Speed, I appreciate it. I love going back and watching these broadcasts. It's so fun, especially when you win. It's icing on the cake there. Burnouts for Bennett, appreciate, everything that everybody is doing for him. He does have a GoFundMe that's out there, so feel free to go out there, donate that. Obviously, we have the main sponsors, Cruising Classics, Nasty's Restaurant Bar and Grill, Veterans for Life Foundation, just anything and everything that veterans or that Go Locker does for vets. I appreciate it. And hopefully we continue to do this and we can help more vets in the future.
Absolutely. Again, Jake, fantastic job here tonight and the season. We will see you in 2025, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
We'll send it right back down here to our third place finisher, Alec Martinez. I believe you're standing by with Daniel Cunningham now.
Yes, sir. Daniel, Alec, and Logan in the VSP booth. Buddy, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, a good way to end the season off with a P3 finish. And what was a wild race, I think, from here. Made a lot of passes. How does it feel to cap off the season and the year with the top three?
Yeah, it's definitely a good way to finish off the season. I was telling the other Bandits drivers, so man, maybe I should have actually qualified for this one. I didn't really have a whole lot to race for tonight. I'm just here because I love this track. Darlington is head shoulders my favorite track on iRacing. It's basically God's gift to the racing world, virtual or real life. So, yeah, I was just out there to have fun, and it was a challenge. I mean, the truck wasn't easy to drive. I mean, it didn't drive horrible, but you definitely had to take care of it. And so I was just trying to focus on having some long run speed and not burn my tires up. And I was able to make my way up there.
Yeah, you were our biggest mover of the race as you went up 13 positions, and good momentum, obviously, to start off next year in 2025. How do you feel about next season if you're going to be here and what that can bring?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to be here. I know was when they talked about starting the season, there'll be some weeks that I have to miss, but yeah, I enjoy the racing in the series. I mean, even across all the Goat Locker series. And I mentioned this Tuesday night after the Xfinity race in my interview that, just what this league stands for and what they try to, not what they try to do, but what they accomplish with veterans and all of that is a mission that I can really support and get behind, and respect and appreciate the hell out of what they do with that. So to be a small part of it and be able to drive over here and try to help out with that, it's definitely an honor to do that. So appreciate the admins and everything over here for what they do for veterans and, trying to help them out however they can.
Absolutely, Dan. Well, we appreciate your time, buddy. Is anybody you want to give a shout out to here for tonight's season, or just for the season in general and for tonight's run?
Yeah, appreciate y'all, V-Speed, doing the broadcast. You always do a fantastic job with all of them. All of our league sponsors, teammates over at Bandits Motorsports, Ghost Energy, and shout out to just the entire field tonight. I mean, going flag to flag green at Darlington is no small feat. So, everybody put on a good show and kept it clean out there. So thanks to everybody for a good season, and congrats to Big Daddy on the championship tonight.
Absolutely, Dan. Well, we appreciate your time, buddy. Again, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you, buddy, and appreciate your time. Congratulations on third place finish, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one. and that is Daniel Cunningham, our third place finisher. And before we close out tonight, we'll go to our vet spotlight, which is Josh Lockenvitz. It's time, or in December, Josh Lockenvitz served 22 years, 15 of those on active orders in the Iowa Army National Guard. He did multiple deployments overseas, notably Iraq in 2005 and Afghanistan from 2018 to 2019. He held the MOSs of 12B, Combat Engineer, a 29E in Electronics Warfare NCO, an 89B, an Ammunition Specialist, and an 35F, an Intelligence Analyst. And he retired as a Sergeant First Class in FC E7. And we thank you for your service, Josh, and thank you for our service to our great nation, and glad to have you a part of the Goat Locker Racing family, and thank you for everything that you've done for us here as hashtag One Lap at a Time. Logan, we'll bring you in here for the final time of this season and this year. What an absolutely amazing season. A huge congratulations to Jeremy Gardner, but man, oh man, what an amazing season. It's been an honor to call it with you, brother.
It has been a blast with you, Alec. I'm so glad that we got picked to be here, the last closing races of this season. And as far as I know, we're coming back next year, and we're going to be better next year. We're going to put on the best broadcast that we possibly can here on Friday nights for all of you folks that tune in every week and check this out. We're looking forward to it, but we got some holidays to get through. Obviously, I'm ready. I don't know about you, Alec. I had to switch it up from the Christmas hat earlier, or the Christmas tree hat earlier, and throw on the Santa Claus hat, because I've got a notion that there's a champion that needs a trophy delivered now.
That is true, and you might have to deliver it there with that Santa hat. Well, we appreciate all of you that have tuned in throughout this season, and for everybody, all the sponsors, to all the drivers, and to everybody that runs here Goat Locker and their mission and what they do. It truly is an amazing cause, and how amazing this series is, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to be alongside all of you watching and to broadcast this. So thank you to everybody here at Goat Locker for having me do this, and for having Logan and Eddie. But for Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkus, and everyone at Goat Locker Racing, for Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper at V-Speed, and our producer Eddie Smith, who worked all season behind the scenes doing the camera work, and of course my colleague in the booth, Logan. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in throughout this season, and we look forward to having you next season right here live on V-Speed. My name is Alec Martinez, and thank you to everybody who tuned in all season and watched here the Goat Locker Racing Series and watched the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series. Till then, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you in 2025, and we'll see you next year.